And we are back yet again. Shout out to the whole Bino Nation. Appreciate y'all for tuning into the show. Shout out to everybody that's watching from the clouds that's not Bino Nation. And definitely shout out to all you haters out there. I see the little videos y'all been doing lately because you upset about my opinion in the Carmelo Anthony case. Guess what? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like my uncle used to say, you mad, you'll get over it or die upset. Like one of the two. I really don't care. But yesterday, I decided to take the day off because I've had a problem that I've been dealing with the entire time I've been on YouTube. It's been a major issue. See, other content creators at my level, many of them have an entire team of people. They got folks that do their editing. They got folks that manage their social media. They got folks that do all of these different things. And your boy, the Angryman, I don't have all of that. I ain't got all of that. I can't afford to pay a bunch of people what I believe they're worth. You feel me? So what I had to do yesterday, because it's taken a while for technology to catch up to what I would really want to do. So what I had to do yesterday is I had to take a day off so that I could create me some employees that's willing to work for free. Well, not totally free, but I took the day and made me some AI employees to do some jobs for me and some tasks for me so that I don't have to spend my entire day focused on, menial tasks and behind the scenes shit. You feel me? But I think I got everybody that I need. I think I got everything that I need so far. So I can finally keep up with the rest of the content creators that's got all kinds of teams of niggas and shit. But today what we're going to talk about this Rick Chow situation. We're going to talk about how black folk responded, basically saying that they were going to do a boycott, and how some of the Asian folks, well, not some of them, I'm not going to say some of them. There's one particular Asian guy that jumped on the internet and had a whole lot to say. So I'm going to give you guys my opinion about all of these situations. I'm going to point out where that particular Asian dude was being goofy. I'm going to point out where the black community was being goofy. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts on how I think the whole boycott and the whole situation should play out. And more than anything, we're going to talk about standards, as we always do, because the standard is the standard. And the biggest problem I see with the community, right, is the fact that we don't really have any standards. We just threw all of the standards out the window. Dolomite said AM haters work double and triple time trying to hold him back. AM haters work double and triple time trying to hold him back. I still haven't gotten over them hating on Dragon Ball Z Saga. AM was on fire with. Man, look, them niggas don't have enough. They don't have enough energy to sufficiently hate on me. I seen people making little thumbnails or whatever, and I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, right? But y'all already know how we do over here. We try to get at least 10 contributors at the beginning of the show to participate in the Bino roll call. What is the Bino roll call? The Bino roll call is when we read the messages first at the top of the show. In order to be part of the Bino roll call, All you have to do is drop 20 or more. We will read your messages first. However, throughout the show, if you want your message read immediately, all you got to do is be a sponsor or a super sponsor of the show. Sponsorship is $100 or more. Super sponsorship is $500 or more. Anybody that drops that kind of bread is not only going to be celebrated, but your messages will be read out loud, and you will occupy a warm spot in the heart of the whole Bino Nation. But we need, hold on one second, y'all. Let me ask y'all a question. Now, oftentimes, I've told my wife that I hate people, right? Legitimately hate people. And some of y'all probably gonna be like, well, what do you mean you hate people, Angryman? I hate people because I have yet to figure out why people do some of the stupid shit that they do. A prime example is whenever I fire up this live stream, right? The one thing I do know about human beings is we're guilty of trying to condition one another, right? We're guilty of trying to condition one another. Big Cheese-a-Roni said, people are the best part of life, AM. If you say so. I appreciate the optimism, but some people, that's really what you should be saying. Some people are the best part of life. Okay. So we're guilty of trying to condition one another. What do I mean by condition, right? It's I don't give a F said, bro, the tiny hat country use the Shark Tank to make one particular race wealthy to control the masses. And this is just one tactic. America needs to work. That's what I'm talking about right there. So this is how this works. And this is where the conditioning comes from. People want, there are numerous people that want me to not do my show. They want me to not speak this truth that I'm speaking, right? So what they try to do is they try to discourage me from doing my show. And it doesn't matter how many people I block from the chat. They're endless. They're endless. They're like a freaking horde of demons, right? A legion of demons, just relentlessly, just because they think eventually I'm going to be like, fuck it, right? So basically what they do is they come over here as soon, and if you notice, it is as soon as I start the show, they immediately jump in the chat room and say something goofy. And now I need you to think about the logic behind that. I need you to think about the psychology behind that. What this means is that they have watched my show, absolutely hate what I had to say. And instead of them saying to themselves, I don't really like that guy, I'm not going to watch him again, No, that's too simple. That's too logical. That's too much like a civilized human being. No, what they say is, you know what? I'm going to subscribe to him. I'm going to click the bell for all notifications. That way, the moment he fires up a live stream, I can jump in the chat room and say the most foul shit that I can think of to try and get on his nerves, and hopefully he'll stop doing YouTube. Now, I need you to think about how much of a loser you would have to be to think that way. How destitute, how dysfunctional, how raggedy your life would have to be for that sequence of events to be the highlight of your day. Do you have any idea? And look, I've been dealing with it for a minute. I've been dealing with it for years. For years. Like, you know what the highlight of my day was? The highlight of my day, and it made me ecstatic, like damn near giddy. Damn near giddy. I was able to create an AI agent that can do a task for me in 10 to 15 minutes that normally took me a little over an hour to do. When I tell you that I was ecstatic, like I was as giddy as a schoolgirl that just got a kitten poster. I was happy as hell, bro. Like things like that make me happy. Things like that. Anytime I'm able to solve a problem or do something more efficiently or be more productive, you know, because every time I do something that's more productive that saves me time, I think to myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting closer to being a millionaire. Yep. I'm almost there. I've almost got it figured out. Like it makes me happy. It makes me happy. You feel me? And you know, I'm not even gonna tell you no lie, like the technical side of all of this technology. I love the technical side. I love doing the artwork. I love doing the utilizing AI, you know, AI code, all of that. I love all of that. The only time that I catch some bullshit. Hold on one second, you guys. The only time that I catch some bullshit is when I fire up this live. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I've been able to mitigate the bullshit because y'all know how we do over here in the Bino Nation. We kick people out. We don't play that goofy shit. That goofy shit that everybody else be having going on where they just allow everybody just to cut up in their chat room and act a damn fool. We don't do that shit over here. We kick people out. You feel me? So we boot you up out of here to mitigate the bullshit. But still, some of you slip through the cracks. Some of you slip through the cracks. Some of you slide in here and you know, just like a cockroach, and you start doing the Harlem Shake. Just slide in like, ooh, I got up in here. Let me try to say the most hateful shit I can say before I get booted. And I really don't think you understand that I don't like, you're an annoyance, yes, but you're not as important as you think you are. You're just an annoyance. And I, for the life of me, I cannot figure this out. I can't figure out what benefit there is for you. I can't. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. I truly believe that if I can figure out why you haters come over here and do that goofy shit that you do, I'll also be able to figure out why the black community is the way it is. Because I have no doubt in my mind that most of you that come in here hating is niggas. I'm willing to bet money on it. I'm willing to bet any amount of money on it because, and the reason why is because it's this typical nigga behavior. It's typical nigga behavior. You don't know how to do anything else. You don't know how to do anything else. You're miserable. You're a miserable bunch. And because you lack information. Because you lack information. And you don't know how to solve your miserable situation, you're just gonna spread the bullshit. You're just gonna make somebody else feel the way you feel, and in some kind of way in your mind, right? That makes things better. That you was able to spread that bullshit ass feeling. And like I said, you see this bullshit amongst the community. You see it. This is part of the reason the community is the way it is. Because of this mentality. But before we get into this topic, so we only got one person for the Bino roll call so far. We've got one person. We've got one person. Just one. We need 9 more people. I just noticed something. We've only got one person for the Bino roll call, which is Lotus Flower. And Lotus Flower doesn't even have a wrench. But I see mad wrenches in the chat. So this is what we're going to do. No theatrics. This is what we gonna do. There we go. So, what I just did is a silent purge. What I just did is a silent purge. Meaning, unless you have a moderator wrench, unless you have the big wrench, you just lost your wrench. Now, anybody that participates in the Bino roll call today will get a wrench. Anybody that participates in the Bino roll call today will get a wrench. In fact, I need to look at some of these. I need to look at some of these big wrenches because we've been having some missing folks. Let's see. Oh, my bad. We don't really have that many big wrenches as I thought. Not as many as I thought. We don't need 4 more people. Where is Omar at? Yo, Omar, say something in the chat, bro. Say something in the chat, Omar. There you go. Let's see. We only need two more people, guys. Then we can get into this. Then we can get into this topic. And look, y'all already know it's about to be some upset folk. Matter of fact, to everybody in here watching, everybody that's part of the Bino Nation or consider yourself Bino Nation, do y'all see how mad these black folk on YouTube get about me? Do y'all see it? Y'all know they not real, right? you know they're not real people, right? You know they're not real people, right? No, I'm not saying that they're bots. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean is when I say they're not real people, I mean they're not authentic. They're not authentic people. Their outrage only exists on the internet. It's like the individuals that come up here and every other word out of their mouth is pro-black this and pro-black that, and these white folks this and these white folks that, and y'all just gonna accept what these white folks do and da 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 da. And they come online and that's the bulk of their rhetoric. And then tomorrow morning they go to a job where they work with white people and they're like, "Hey Bob, how's it going?" You know, they're polite. They're not authentic people. Their outrage only exists on the internet. It only exists online. Because you know what? It has gotten to the point where no matter where I go, I'm spotted. So no matter where I go, somebody will walk up to me and be like, "Yo, ain't you the Angryman?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." And they'd be like, "Man, I love your content." Like bro, I'm gonna tell y'all some real shit. The only place my haters exist is online. It's on the internet. I never bump into haters in real life. Every person that I bump into in real life that recognizes me from YouTube, it's always cordial, it's always love, it's always respect. So what does that tell you? Just think about that for a second. Because I thought about it one day. And many of you probably dealt with this too. The only time anybody has ever told me I wasn't black is on the internet. That's the only time I've ever dealt with that. I've never had anyone in real life look at me and say, "You're not black. You're a Mexican. You're fat. Take your hat off so I can see your hairline." Like this is things that they do on the internet mainly because they can't do it in real life. Because they know if they said the things that they say on the internet in real life, somebody would slap the piss out of them. They would never repeat some of the goofy shit they say here online to anybody in real whole life because they don't want their ass kicked. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. These black folk that you see online acting like they're in a race war with non-black people, in their real life, they are just as friendly and cordial with non-black people as anybody else. See, I'm going to tell you what's funny to me. I'm going to tell you what's hilarious to me. These people will come to the internet and they have so much criticism for the men on the internet, the men, whatever you want to label them, whether you want to label them RP, whether you want to label them podcast bros or whatever, right? So the men that are online that have these RP talking points, you know, things like, what do you bring to the table? What's your body count? That sort of thing, right? These people will come to the internet and they will say, those men only say that on the internet. That doesn't happen in real life. Right? So anybody that's RP, anybody that says, what do you bring to the table? Anybody that says any of those talking points, these people will come to the internet and they'll act like those things only exist on the internet, but the shit they do on the internet is real. Like, let that sink in for a second. The niggas that come here to be pro-black and talk all of this pro-black rhetoric and talk about how they can't stand white folk and they can't stand Latinos, they can't stand whoever. They come up here and they act like that's authentic while simultaneously saying that red pill dudes are not authentic. Does that make any sense? So everybody's inauthentic on the internet except you. Everybody's inauthentic. And see this right here. Let me show you something. You see this right here? This is the type of shit that gets you banned from my chat room. Bye. That type of shit gets you banned from my chat room. Now, let me be crystal clear about something so that you can, and who knows who that is. Like, just because you've got that photo doesn't mean that I think that's who you are, right? But I will say this. Let's be crystal clear about something. Just because I get up here on a regular basis and critique black people don't mean you're going to slide your ass up in here and be racist. Don't get it fucking twisted. Regardless of what people want to say, I'm not a coon, I'm not a sellout, and I'm not somebody that doesn't have self-respect. If you bring your ass in here and you're non-black and you say some racist shit, I will kick your raggedy fucking ass out of my chat room. I'm going to say it again. I do not like bigotry, no matter what flavor it comes in. White, black, green, and in between. It don't make me no damn difference. You come in here saying some racist shit and you getting booted. Can you please explain the rent system? Thank you. No, I think I'd just rather kick you out of my chat room. Bye. Think I'd rather just kick you out of my chat room. I ain't explaining shit to you. You ain't smart enough to figure it out, or you wasn't paying attention when I was talking earlier. You know what you can do. Because that's another way people troll you too. They come in here and they try to ask innocent questions to make you think that they're being genuine. So could you explain the wrench system to me? No. Could you kiss my ass? Could you do that? Could you do that? Anyway, going back to what I was saying. You got haters, degenerates, raggedy, trifling individuals that show up to the angry man's chat room thinking that the angry man is going to tolerate it. Let me tell you something. When it comes to my chat room, when it comes to my YouTube channel, I do not suffer fools. You will get booted if you come in here talking stupid. If you come in here talking stupid, you will get the boot. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Now, it's always been the same way. The faster that we get sufficient support, the faster we do the show. Well, not the faster, the faster we get to the beginning of the show, if that makes sense. But what I plan on doing today, I plan on giving you guys my opinion about the Rick Chow case and the subsequent reaction from the Black community, including the reaction from this one particular Asian guy who went viral on social media for basically saying who went viral on social media for somebody just came in and said that I was a new age pastor. Do you see how mentally challenged people are? Do you see how mentally challenged people are? How am I a new age pastor? How does that even make any damn sense? Don't you find it interesting, just to be totally honest, don't you find it interesting that everybody understands the economics of everything until a nigga starts doing some shit? Do y'all realize this is part of the reason why I can't stand the Black community? Because I know that was a Black person. There's no way that was a white person that did that, or a Latin person, or Asian person. It was somebody Black, right? So the same way I can sit here and tell you that if the Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf situation was reversed, Black people would have a totally different opinion on it. The same way I can tell you that with certainty. In other words, if Austin Metcalf had killed Carmelo Anthony, they would be wanting him to have life in prison, if not the death penalty, right? I know this for certain, right? Same way I know this for certain, I know for certain that if there were only white content creators, meaning there were no Black content creators at all, and all of the content creators were getting rich, talking about just random shit, just doing random shit, regular content like cat videos, videos of people playing with toys, videos of people putting together Legos. If there was only white folk or non-Black people creating content, regardless of what the content is, Black people wouldn't have a problem with it. They would watch it. They would be entertained by it. they would contribute to it, they would support it. It isn't until a black person starts to do it that all of a sudden it becomes a grift. All of a sudden it's you're begging for money. All of a sudden it's and do you know why you think this way, Negro? You think this way because you're still a fucking slave. And because you're still a slave, you think anybody that looks like you is supposed to do shit for free. See, every time y'all come over here running your mouth to me, there's a couple of things you need to understand. The first thing you need to understand is that I don't have a slave mind because I've never been a slave. Ever. And even if you were to go back through my genealogy, only a fraction of my genealogy is possibly in a group that may have been slaves. So I don't think the way you do. This is how I think. If I do something that people gather together and want to see it on a consistent basis, I should get paid for it. If I create a product that numerous people want to use, I should get paid. If I create a service that numerous people want to utilize, I should get paid. That's not out of the ordinary. That is called economics. That is called a free market. That is called supply and demand. But see, when it comes to you good people of the community, you've got two problems swimming around in your melon. One is the slave mentality, which makes you, for some odd reason, think that anyone that looks like you that's black should either be underpaid for what they do or not compensated at all. Now, the interesting thing about this psychology is you don't think that way about yourself. So even though you're black, and you believe you should be compensated. In fact, you probably think you should be overcompensated for the little bit of talent that you have. But you'll look at somebody else that looks like you and think they're supposed to do the shit for free. Do you know why that caveat is there? Do you know the reason why you think you should be compensated being a black person, but think other black people shouldn't be compensated? Because on top of the slave mentality, you also have the welfare mentality. You think everybody's supposed to give you shit. That's why you come over here and say, Angryman, your show should be free. Get your welfare, food stamp, Section 8 recipient ass out of my chat room. I'm not one of these Negroes up here that you can shame into being a poor righteous teacher. I'm not one of these Negroes you can shame into being broke just so you can butter me up and make me feel like I'm righteous for being broke so that you can get some shit for free. Which is another damn hustle that the black community does to one another, which is another reason why your asses can't get shit done. Now, as much as you love to come into the chat room and talk shit about the small hats, you know one thing about the small hats? If one of them opens up a business, no matter what kind of business it is, the others in that community will go to that business and they will frequent that business and they will spend money with that business. They're not going to talk the person down on their price. They're not going to do none of that shit. In fact, some of them will go spend money with that business even if they don't need the product, even if they don't need the service. They'll just do it to support one another. And because they practice group economics like that, that is the reason they could be one of the smallest groups as far as percentage of population. That's why they can be one of the smallest groups and be so damn wealthy. Because they've been doing that shit forever. But here you niggas come. But it's not surprising because you do the opposite of what the small hats do. So it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense that you broke. It makes sense that you're struggling. But see, I'm not built like you. I'm not designed like you. My genes ain't like yours. See, I don't just have that part of the genes that you have that gives you that slave mind. I don't have that. I've got other shit going on. So coming in here talking that goofiness to me, you wasting your damn time. You wasting your damn time. Don't come in here talking to me about, oh, you just a modern day preacher. Take your stupid ass out of here, because guess what? How you gonna come in here and try to disparage me by calling me a modern day preacher and you still ain't disparaged them? Think about, I want everybody in here to think about that. I want y'all to think about that mentality. Somebody come into your chat room and in order to try to discredit you and disparage you, they say, ooh, you just like them modern preachers. What does that mean? You ain't shit. Well, how are you gonna come over here and address me being like a modern day preacher, but you haven't addressed the actual preacher yet? Does that make any sense to y'all? Like, how you gonna tell somebody you operate like these modern preachers and that's why I don't like you? Well, nigga, I can't tell. How you gonna address the person that you think is like the Baptist preacher, but you still ain't addressed the Baptist preacher? You still ain't addressed the Baptist preacher. So if you ain't gonna address him, shut the fuck up. If you ain't gonna address him, don't show up to address the nigga that you think is similar to him, that came after him. If you ain't willing to deal with him first, shut the hell up. Some of the most backwards people I have ever seen in my natural life. every fucking time I go live. Here you come with your stupidity. And here's the funny thing about it. The funniest thing about it is you think you are succeeding at doing something to me. The only thing you're succeeding at is proving to my audience, the people that watch me, how stupid you are. That's all you're doing. And at this point, you're not even proving it. At this point, you're confirming it because everybody already thinks you're stupid. Everyone already thinks you're stupid. You're just giving them confirmation. Because guess what? When you come in the chat room and say them little goofy things, check this out. Ain't nobody in here scratching their head trying to figure out what race you are. Nobody. I promise you. Nobody's sitting there saying, gee, I wonder if that was a black person or a non-black person that said that. No, nobody's asking that question. Nobody's asking that question. See what I mean? There's another example right there. There's another example right there. You see that? Everybody read that message right there. Read that message right there. But going back to what I was saying, because I'm going to do this show, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to do this show. See what I mean? Look. Shout out to Lake Meadows for being a sponsor of the show. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. See, there are some people that would be like, well, Angryman, if you got so many freaking haters,
that's that Bino energy.
Well, it's a lot better than we usually do.
All right, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
some people would say, well, Angryman, if you've got so many haters and every time you go live, all they want to do is try to aggravate the shit out of you, why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep doing it? I'll tell you why I keep doing it. One, I keep doing it because there are countless individuals that watch my show and they appreciate my candor. They appreciate the fact that I'm willing to say the quiet part out loud. They appreciate the fact that I'm willing to cook these disingenuous, raggedy ass individuals with fresh grease. And because of that, they come here to the show day in and day out. They support. They chat in the chat room. They do all of that. But there's another reason. And this is the biggest reason. This is the biggest reason. I'm not going to quit because if I did, then you punk ass haters would win. And I'm not going to let you win. I'm not going to let you win. I know every single time I fire up a live stream, you get in your fifis. He going live again. What he gonna say this time? Don't matter what I'm gonna say. You just got to deal with it. You just got to deal with it. You just got to deal with it. In fact, I'm gonna show you how stupid. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me show you the level of stupidity we dealing with. Just so you can get an idea. This right here.
Imagine if Barack would have did January 6th.
This is the level of stupidity we dealing with right here. I'm gonna rewind this shit again. I'm gonna rewind it back. Just listen to
just imagine if
this look like, first of all, you look him in the face and tell what the deal is with him. But just listen to what he said. Listen to what he said.
Just imagine if Barack would have did January 6th.
First of all, if he was behind January 6th and that was black people going into that Capitol, we'd have been dead. For sure. They would have slaughtered them.
Like
online.
He said, and I quote, if Barack Obama would have been behind January 6th and it would have been black people out there, black people would have been dead, we would have been slaughtered. Let me ask y'all a question. In recent history, how many times have you seen large quantities of black people in public acting a damn fool and nobody got slaughtered? In fact, I'm sitting here right now trying to figure out what this nigga's point of reference is. When did black people get slaughtered in large numbers? This ignorant fool sat here and said, could you imagine what would happen if Barack Obama had did January 6th? How is it possible that we're this stupid? How? I have been racking my brain trying to figure out how. Is it something in the water? Was it something that y'all were consuming growing up that I didn't consume? Was it the grape soda? Was that what it? Because I hated grape soda. I never drank it. Was it the grape soda? Was that what it was? Was it the grape soda that was destroying your brain cells? What was it? No, all joking aside, I think it was fluoride. I think it was fluoride. I honestly think it was fluoride. Like, there's no possible way. There's no possible way. He said that, like, bro, this fool said, he said that if that had been black folk at January 6th, they would have been slaughtered. Well, if that's true, why didn't that happen at why didn't that happen at Myrtle Beach? Why didn't that happen at the Houston Rodeo? Why didn't that happen on these countless cruises where y'all get to brawling? Why that ain't happen with all of these teen takeovers? Like, yo, I could pull up social media right now and show you countless instances, countless places where a mob of black people is tearing shit up. So it begs the question, what is this nigga? Bro, I'm telling you right now, we've lost the plot. Black people have been pretending to be the biggest victims for so long that now they're describing shit they haven't even experienced. If January 6th would have been black folk, we would have been dead. We would have been slaughtered. When has that happened? When has that happened? When has there ever been an instance in black history where black people were protesting? Because that's what them people was doing January 6th. When has there ever been an instance where black people was protesting and they got slaughtered? When? Black folks, they done had dogs sicked on them. They done been sprayed with water hoses. They done been beat up, and I'm pretty sure there were people that lost their lives, but slaughtered? When has that happened? When? He said Black Wall Street. Black people were slaughtered during Black Wall Street. Slaughtered. And then this fucking mentally challenged Negro said, look it up. Why would I look it up? Why would I look it up? You know how I know? You want to know you want to know how I know, Ron, that black people were not slaughtered during Black Wall Street? Do you want to know how I know black people were not slaughtered? You want to know how I know? You want to know how I know? Out of curiosity, you should just look it up. I don't have to look it up because I already know the history of it, you fucking retard. Stop coming into my... Yo, I swear to God, something's wrong with y'all. Something's wrong with y'all. Every black person you encounter is not ignorant. Something's wrong with you. First of all, you came in here and you made an ignorant statement and you followed it up with look it up as if you knew what you were talking about. Could you imagine telling someone to look something up and you don't even have the facts about it yourself? Please tell. Okay, let me help you out. You said they were slaughtered. I said, when were black people slaughtered? You said Black Wall Street. And I'm pretty sure you're talking about the bombing of Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? There's only one problem. They didn't even call it Black Wall Street until after it was rebuilt. So guess what? Nobody got slaughtered on Black Wall Street because it wasn't even called Black Wall Street when the bombing happened. You mentally challenged goofball. You don't even know the damn history of it. They didn't even call it Black Wall Street until they rebuilt the shit. Now here's the question. After they rebuilt the shit and called it Black Wall Street, did it get bombed again? The answer's no. You don't even know what you're talking about in here. Coming here telling me to look something up. No, you need to go look it up. Stop repeating shit you heard somebody say on the internet with your mentally challenged ass. Now, here's an even better question. When it comes to Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wilmington, North Carolina, all of these different instances, here's my question. How many of you were there? Press a 1 in the chat if you were there. Press a 1 in the chat if you were actually there. If you actually were there when the shit happened and witnessed it. Go ahead and press a 1 if you were there and witnessed it. Nobody? 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 See, here's my problem with black folk talking about shit that happened in the past. The problem is you're not always the best source of information. Hence the example we just saw. Now, if you look at most black people in the modern era, most black people think that the white race is the most evil race on the planet because at some point they owned slaves. But what these black folk don't know in the modern era is that only 2% of white Americans actually owned slaves during slavery. %2. Look, Howard Pointer said, cap. Oh, really? My bad. I forgot. You saw Roots. You saw Roots, so you obviously know what the hell you talking about. You saw Roots. We can't argue with these television scholars. These niggas saw Roots growing up. You feel me? Nigga, you don't read shit. Get out of my fucking chat room. Bye. Goodbye. 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 The point that I'm trying to make is that if you let these black folk tell it, what they experienced or what their forebears experienced, and first of all, you got to think about it like this. You got to think about it like this. You're already dealing with a group of people that suffer from cognitive dissonance. Why do I say that? Because they will preface a sentence like this. Well, when we were slaves, when was you a slave? Well, you got to understand what they did to us back in the day. Are you an immortal? Did you were there and experienced that shit? Then how the hell do you know who did what and how, what? Like, I'll give you a prime example. I'll give you a prime example, right? I'll give you a prime example. Right now, today, if any of you had to guess, just off the top of your dome, if you just had to guess, how much police brutality that is white cop to black citizen takes place? If you had to guess, how much police brutality has a white cop as the perpetrator and a black citizen as the victim? How much would you say? So most people in here would agree it's a low number. It's lower than most people think, right? It's lower than most people think, right? Now watch this. If you took the average black liberal Democrat, in other words, it's a black person that's liberal and a Democrat, and they always screaming about oppression. In 30 years from now, when they're elderly, when they tell their grandchildren about George Floyd, Mike Brown, and all of that, tell me that they're not going to present that shit like black folks was getting their ass whooped by cops every damn day. Do you get what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? If you took the average black person that's here right now in 2026, that let's say they're 40 years old, and all they talk about is how oppressed we are and how racist the country is, when they become an elderly person, how do you think they're going to recount this history? Do you think they're going to tell their grandkids, well, you know, it wasn't as bad as most people make it out to be? No. The way they're going to tell that shit is black people couldn't come out the house without police jumping on them. Black people couldn't come out the house with, and guess what? I got news for you. I got news for you. That's exactly what happened with us. That's exactly what happened with us when it came to our parents and our grandparents. Many of them exaggerated like a motherfucker. Because look, it's easy for us to look back at history and take those horrible moments of history, right? And then make that the totality of what black experience was back in the day. Right? But you want to know what I find to be funny? This is what I find to be funny. Some of the younger folk in this era are more racist than the folk from my grandmother's era. So my question is this: why would the folks from my grandmother's era, the folks that were born in the 20s, that lived through Jim Crow, why is it they had a certain mentality compared to the mentality you see today? In other words, because this is what people like to do. People like to be like, well, the reason why the black folk, because if you notice the black folk from my grandmother's era, they didn't walk around complaining about white folks 24/7. Now, some of y'all are going to try to say, well, that's because they were scared of them. That's another myth. That's another myth. They were not afraid of white people. But they didn't walk around complaining about, and look, I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because I've seen it with my own two eyes. I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because the relationship between white folk and black folk back in the day, it's not what they're trying to make us believe it was. Was there racism? Was there prejudice? Absolutely. Absolutely. But do you think for 1 second that there weren't situations where you got a white store owner and the store is white only, but there was black folk that he liked or that he grew up around, so he didn't care if they came in the store? Do you really think that that shit didn't happen? Do you really think that that was just a hard rule that was drawn a line in the sand and nobody crossed it? Do you really think that shit? Do you really believe that shit? Or that there were black people that viewed family members in this white family as racist But there was one in the family that they felt wasn't racist, and they was cool with that one. And they got along with each other. See, what bothers me is that the nuance of the American experience was removed, and we were fed the extreme. That's all we were fed. We were fed the extreme. We were fed the like, even now, I see them doing it now on TV shows. I see them doing it now on TV shows. And I'm like, yo, they didn't just start doing this goofy shit. They've been doing this goofy shit. They've been doing this goofy shit. Like that Civil War movie. You feel me? Like, because if you watch any TV shows or any movies today, if they have a character that's conservative or right-leaning, in that movie or that TV show, he's just going to automatically be racist. Y'all ain't noticed that? But guess what? We know that's not always the damn case. But in media, every single person that is conservative or right-wing is just automatically a racist and a bigot. And you sitting there looking at it like, what is this bullshit? Like, why? Like, what is this? And see, this is what people don't realize. They be like, well, why would they do that, Angryman? Why would they make an extreme easy? Because God forbid if they didn't make that extreme on TV shows, right? God forbid they put themselves in a position to where they can't utilize black folks' fear of racism to keep them on the Democrat plantation. That's what that's about. That's what that's about. That is, because look, here's the thing. If you don't constantly remind people that racism exists, you know what would eventually happen? You know what would eventually happen? What do you think would eventually happen if you didn't constantly remind people that racism exists? What do you think would eventually happen? Yeah, exactly. And it almost did. It almost did with my generation. It almost did with my generation. And then came a man by the name of Barack Obama. Fired it back up again. And look, if you notice, whenever you look at politics, bro, I remember in the 90s, politicians would not say the word racism. They would not say that word for nothing in this world. Politicians stayed the hell away from the concept of racism, all of those different things. And now They can't give a, they cannot, they do not get in front of the damn mic without saying racism 11 times. $11 times, bruh. In fact, let me tell you something. And I can say this in all honesty from my life experience as a Gen X kid, right? When I was a kid, when I watched He-Man, there was white and black characters. When I watched wrestling, there was white and black characters. When I watched G.I. Joe, whether it was G.I. Joe, He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Rambo, any of the cartoons I watched had a diversity. There would be white guys, there'd be black guys, there'd be Asian guys, there'd be Latino. Every show that I watched. In fact, it bugged me out because when I went and looked at some of the intros, I was like, damn, we really did have a lot of diversity back then, right? But then I thought about it. When I went to school, I played with kids of all races. I went to school with kids of all races, right? When I watched TV shows had people of, multiple races or whatever. When I was growing up, they rarely ever really got into race on television shows, right? Rarely, right? I watched The Dukes of Hazzard, and even though, and you can go back and watch it. It's on streaming services right now. You can go back and watch it. The Dukes of Hazzard, they friends. There was a black guy in that group. So even though the car was called the General Lee and it had a Confederate flag on top of it, go back and watch them episodes. There wasn't no racism in them episodes. Other than the Confederate flag, you can if you want to say that's racism, okay. I watched Dallas. I watched all of these shows. The only time that I ever had to deal with racism was when they would put Roots on TV. Or North and South, or a movie would come out about racism. That's the only time that I really dealt with it. That's the only time. That's the only time is when one of them movies would come out. But anyway, let's get to this Bino roll call so we can get into this main topic.
Bino check. If you're in the building, show your work. Drop 20 on the Super Chat or Cash app.
Shout out to D. Murray. He said, always appreciate you speaking truth. Thank you.
That's that Bino energy.
Shout out to Andres. Said, yeah, there's something seriously wrong with people.
That's that Bino energy.
See, shout out to Shout out to Dwayne. He said, please excuse my tardiness. Better late than never.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Omar. He said, wrench or no wrench, you know how I do, AM.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Lord Geotron. He said, so YouTube won't take it.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Harold with the salute. Appreciate you.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Let's see who else we got in the building. Shout out to Lord Geotron for gifting 5 memberships.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Lotus Flower, said love and support. Appreciate you.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Beans and Green, said good evening, AM.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Tim Dog. He said roll call Bino for life.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Let's see. Shout out to 3-Man Podcast. He said bad signal driving through the mountains. Appreciate you, bro.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to MTCJ Mabe. Said I appreciate your live. Truth will always outlast the lies. Appreciate you.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Tim Dog. He said roll call on both channels. Bino for life.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Abba's Child. Said blessings AM and Bino Nation.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Mr. Lone Star. Said salute AM. Bino's glad I could catch a live. Keep cooking.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to King JB. He said people don't want to hear the truth, AM. It gets in the way of the lies they living off of.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
Shout out to Larry with the salute. Appreciate you.
That's that. That's that. Bino energy.
So let me give my thoughts on this whole situation. Now, for those of you that were paying attention to what was going on, you had this court case with Rick Chow where he basically was let off the hook. Now, everybody has mixed feelings about whether or not Rick Chow is guilty. There's a whole lot of speculation around that story, a whole lot of sketchy, accounts. Now, me personally, y'all already know my position on the Rick Chow situation. I said, to me, it doesn't really matter what the circumstances are surrounding it. It doesn't matter to me if the young boy had a gun or didn't have a gun. The reason why it doesn't matter to me is because they left out of the store and pursued him. That's all I needed to hear. Okay? That's all I needed to hear. The fact if that young boy, and like I said, even if that young boy was stealing in the store, even if he was stealing, you got cameras, right? Call the police. You feel me? Ban him from the store, all of that good shit. But the moment he walked out of the store and left, Rick Chow and his son should not have been pursuing him. He's not a threat. He left. Now, if that young boy was in that store and he pulled a gun out to rob Rick Chow and Rick Chow shot that young boy, I'd be having a different conversation with y'all right now. Right? But if the young boy left out of the store and was not a threat anymore, and you followed him, doesn't matter what happened after that, you're culpable. You're in a, and see, some people are trying to say, well, they should have charged him with manslaughter and then he would have been found guilty. That's a crock of shit. That's a crock of shit. He should have been found. He should have been found guilty, right? That's just my opinion. Now, some of y'all can get mad about that or whatever, right? But I'm not here to relitigate that case. I'm just telling you what my opinion is of it, right? So, once that case happened, right, and he was found not guilty, the black community got upset, and rightfully so, right? So the black community was like, we're going to boycott Asian businesses. That was their immediate response. We're going to boycott Asian businesses, right? And so the moment they said that, there was an Asian guy who went live or went on the social media to talk shit because black folks was talking shit about boycotting Asian businesses, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video of what that particular guy had to say. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts on the whole concept of black people boycotting Asian businesses or anybody for that matter. And my thoughts on what he had to say about the black community saying they were going to boycott Asian businesses. So let's pull up this video, see what he had to say.
I love when the black community says, let's boycott Asian businesses. Please do. We'll get rid of the Chinese takeout, the dry cleaners, the laundromats. Let's get rid of the liquor stores as well. Get rid of the Jordans you guys wear, the Nikes you wear, the shower caps, the Hondas, the Hyundais, all your car electricians, the electronics in your house, the Sony, the TV system, your sound system, the microphones that you guys use to rap and speak about awareness for the black culture and the hip hop culture. Where do you think that's made in? That's made all in Asia. And here's another thing for you guys. You guys want us to leave the neighborhood so bad? Oh, Asian people are not neighborhoods. We're in white neighborhoods. We have our own Chinatown. We have our own Koreatown. You think we really need you guys to benefit off and make money? A lot of us do go to college as well. You're being outworked by immigrants who barely speak English. And you're not embarrassed? Go to the bank, start your own businesses, and deal with your own people. I want to see your own women get on their hands and knees and do pedicures and manicures and deal with nasty-ass attitudes, okay? Please, boycott Asian business. I'm all for it.
So, that's what he had to say. Now, look. Let me start by saying this. There's two things that's right at the same time. Okay? The two things that's right is this. One, he's not wrong about the amount of reliance that we have on Asian businesses. He's not wrong about that. I'd be lying if I said that he was wrong about that. Black people, and not just black people, but America is dependent upon Asian business. Not going to front, right? But at the same time that he's right about that, black people are also right when it comes to making the decision that they're going to boycott those businesses. So here's the problem I have with this whole thing, especially with this particular guy, right? And look, let me say this. The fact that he would even go live and start popping shit like this is ridiculous to me. And it makes me wonder, why are there so many people in this day and age that suffer from entitlement? To that particular Asian guy, I don't know his name, but to that particular Asian guy, if black people came out and said, you know what, we don't like what Rick Chow did, and we don't like the way we've been treated by Asian businesses, so we're going to stop spending money with Asian businesses. That's just what it is. You don't get to go live and start talking shit like black people spending money with you is an automatic. That's not the way that works. See, this goes back to what I was talking about earlier with black folk expecting other black folk to do shit for free. There's also this expectation that non-black people have that we're supposed to spend our money with them. If black people say they don't want to spend their money with you, that's just what it is. Unless you plan to do something to regain their patronage. So, first of all, the problem with your approach was this. The moment that Rick Chow was found not guilty, the Asian community, those that have businesses that service predominantly black neighborhoods, they should have came out and made a statement. They should have came out and made a statement and said, look, we don't condone what happened. We don't condone what happened, and we understand the frustration and the anger that the black community has. And you know, we just hope that you don't take it out on us being Asian business owners, blah, 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 right? That would have sounded better than to jump out there and say, go ahead and boycott. Like we really need your business. You're literally proving black people's point when you do that. The moment you do that, black people is like, see, I told you they didn't like us. They just want our money. So you're proving their point by doing that. And look, I think I speak for everybody when I say this. Who the fuck do you think you are? If black people say they don't want to spend their money with you, that's just what it is. They don't owe you shit. They don't owe you nothing. And then I'm going to tell you something else too that kind of made me upset. what kind of made me upset is when you started talking about certain products and shit. See, now you're not just talking about black people, you talking about America now. Now you kind of going into the geopolitical space where you're saying, where do you think those microphones were manufactured? Where do you think those Jordans were manufactured? Like, bro, you got a little too much dip on your chip. Like, you need to remember you're in America. You need to remember that. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I guess he's in America. I don't know, right? But that arrogance, like, bro, you tripping. You tripping, 100% tripping. Like, because here's the funny thing about this. There ain't a damn thing that you said when you started listing, when you said, yeah, I love it when black people say they want to boycott the Asian community, then boycott dry cleaners, boycott the Chinese takeout, boycott the da-da-da. You run down this list. You, bro, sir, you didn't list a damn thing that we can't do also. There was nothing that you listed that we can't do. When you're talking about certain products, manufacturing certain products, like Donald Trump has been going out of his way to try to encourage Americans to start manufacturing our own products again. So that's number one. Number two, you're not the only individuals that own dry cleaners, sir. And number three, I think at this point in history, we all of us know how to make Chinese food. At this point in history, I don't think it's a stretch of the imagination to say that making shrimp fried rice is not an ancient Chinese secret, my friend. So what you're saying is ridiculous. What you're saying is ridiculous. And you've opened up an entirely new conversation. Because I ain't gonna lie, some of what you were saying, I had to wonder, were you just talking about black people or were you talking about Americans in general? Like, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And before anybody tries to come at me, I'm not hating on Asians. I'm talking about this particular guy right here. I'm not talking about all Asians. You feel me? But correct me if I'm wrong. Did it or did it not sound like he wasn't just talking about black people? It sounded like he was talking about Americans in general. That's what it sounded like to me. I could be wrong. It sounded like he was just talking about Americans in general because, look, black people aren't the only people that use microphones. Black people aren't the only people that buy Air Jordans. Black people aren't the only people that go to dry cleaners and Chinese takeout. It sounded like, bro, it sounded like you was really addressing just Americans in general, right? But even with that being said, because I know some of y'all, I know some of the black folk in the back is like, yeah, angry man, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Tell him what time it is, angry man. Slow your roll. Slow your roll. Because I got a bone to pick with you niggas too. I got a bone to pick with you too. I'm going to say this, and I mean this. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, okay? Even though I'm up here pointing out this dude being goofy, before you start throwing up the Black Power fist and start yelling, that's what I'm talking about, and all of that other bullshit, Ungawa, Black Power, all of that shit, let me tell you something. Stop saying that you're going to boycott some shit only to go back to using those services 2 weeks later. I'm tired of y'all yelling about boycotts. I'm tired of that, man. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of y'all yelling about boycotts that only last as long as a damn as a HBO miniseries if you binge watched it. Don't nobody want to hear that bullshit. If you not serious about your boycott, shut up. Shut up. Because part of the reason this guy is talking like this is because he know y'all full of shit. Part of the reason he's talking like that is because he know you just running your mouth. He know, that's why he started listing all of that shit. He knows that you're going to go down to the dry cleaners, that you're going to go to the Chinese spot, you're going to go to the beauty supply store, your woman is going to go get her nails done. Like, he know. He know. Because I'm going to tell you some other shit, too. Because this is what you could have did, too. This is what you could have did, too. Because I ain't going to lie. Both of you are goofy. Both of you goofy. He's goofy, and the black people that scream boycott is goofy. I'm going to tell you why you goofy. This is why you goofy. When Rick Chow was found not guilty, instead of black folk jumping out the window and saying, we're going to boycott Asian businesses, you could have just said, we're going to boycott that guy. Rick Chow, his business. We're going to boycott that guy because he's the one that did the goofy shit. So we're going to make an example out of his ass. Let me tell y'all something. You know what's more effective? Saying that you're going to boycott Rick Chow and doing so in a way where he goes bankrupt, he's not able to run a business, and he ends up destitute. That is more effective when it comes to making an example out of what happens when certain groups treat your group a certain way. That's more effective than you jumping out your body and saying that you're going to boycott all Asian businesses, which ain't sustainable. Let's be real. First of all, you don't have the level of unity to do that shit. So making an example out of Rick Chow is way more effective than issuing a hollow, empty threat that you're going to boycott all Asian businesses, which we know you're not going to do. We know you ain't going to do that. So why did you even say it? Why'd you even say it? And see, this is the issue. This is the issue. Nobody Nobody wants to tell the truth about what this shit is. Nobody wants to tell the truth about what this shit is. Is Asian people the problem, or is Rick Chow the problem? And Asians that act like Rick Chow. Because I can tell you right now, there's certain businesses I go to that are owned by Asians. They've never been rude to me. They've never said nothing crazy to me. So we can't put it on every single Asian. But I said it before and I meant it. No matter what business you go into, whether it be black, white, Asian, Latino, wherever, if you are treated in a foul way, for whatever reason, whether it's your political views, whether it's your color, whether it's your whatever, you shouldn't spend money with that business. That's the way business works. If you go into a business and you have a poor experience, you shouldn't go back to that business. You shouldn't spend money with that business. That's not a racial thing. That's just a common sense thing. That's just common sense, right? So again, if Rick Chow has a gas station in a black neighborhood, and every time somebody black comes in there, is hurry up and buy, or he's getting an attitude with them, there's a very simple solution to that shit. Black people should stop spending their money in there. Black people should stop spending their money in there. Stop going into that damn store. How's he going to keep a store open if nobody in the neighborhood spends any money there? Y'all really don't know how to vote with your dollar. You don't know how to vote with your dollar. And that's the reason why I say yelling that you're going to boycott all Asian businesses, man, get out of here. You full of shit. You full of shit. You just as full of shit is Coconut and what's that other dude's name on Do the Right Thing? Because what did Robin Harris tell them? He said, man, first of all, you talking about foreigners. Your ass just got off the boat too, Coconut. He said, matter of fact, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm about to go get these Koreans some more of my damn money. Hell out the way. It's Miller time. That's the reality. That's the reality that we live in. He said, when you going to open a business? Exactly. You ain't going to do shit. That's the reality. In fact, hold on. Let me see if I can find that clip. I would love to play that clip. Because these Negroes, they're going to get up here and they're going to talk about what they're going to do, and they ain't going to do shit. They're going to talk about what they're going to do, and they ain't going to do a damn thing. They ain't going to do nothing but run their mouth. Let's see. Hold on. I knew I was going to find it.
As I was saying before we were so rudely interrupted by New York City's finest.
What was you saying?
The motherfucker wasn't saying shit.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at what?
It's a goddamn shame.
What's a goddamn shame?
Sweet Dick Willie.
That's my name.
Damn, man, do I have to spell it out?
I make it plain.
Okay, but listen up. I'm going to break it down.
Let it be broke, motherfucker.
Can you dig it?
It's done.
Look at those Korean motherfuckers across the street. I bet you they haven't been off the boat a year before they open up their own place.
That's right, man. It's been about a year.
A motherfucking year off the motherfucking boat, and they already got a business in our neighborhood. A good business. Occupying.
Now, the whole time he talking, Willie just sitting back there like this, just shaking his head.
A building that had been boarded up for longer than I care to remember. And I've been here a long time.
Wow, you've been here a long time.
Yeah, boy. And now, for the life of me, you know, I can't figure this out. Either them Korean motherfuckers are geniuses, or you black asses are just plain dumb.
Fuck you. It's got to be because we are black. Ain't no other explanation. No, I know, man. You know, ain't they always trying to keep the black man to be about shit? I'm saying.
Motherfuckers holding shit down. Tired of hearing that old excuse. Tired of hearing that shit.
You know, I tell you, I swear, man, I will be one happy fool when we open our own business right here in our neighborhood. I swear to God, I will be the first in line to spend what little money I got. Right there with you, man.
You motherfuckers always talking that old Keith Sweat shit. I'm going. Yeah. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. You ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. You ain't gonna sit y'all monkey ass on this corner. Hey, Emil, when you gonna get your business? Huh? Yeah, just like I thought. You ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. But I tell you what I'm gonna do. You hear me? I'm gonna go over there and get them Koreans some more of my money. The fuck out my way. Goddamn, it's Miller time, motherfuckers. Old moosehead fuckers tell me what to do. And Coconut, you got a lot of damn nerve. You got off the boat too. Hell, leave me alone. Shoot.
Coconut, you got a lot of nerve. You just got off the boat too. That's some real shit. That's some real shit. He said, what you gonna do? He said, when you gonna open the business? Just like I thought, you ain't gonna do a damn thing. And Coconut, you got a lot of nerve. You just got off the boat. That's real. You sitting on the corner. First of all, you sitting on the corner talking about how that business been boarded up longer than you can remember. Then why the hell didn't you do what you needed to do so you could open up the damn business? I tell you why. Because niggas don't appreciate shit until somebody else got it. I'm going to say that again. Negroes don't appreciate shit until somebody else got it. So it could be a rundown building that ain't nobody occupying. Nigga walk past that shit every day. Won't even think about it. Let you open up that damn building and turn it into a thriving business. Now all of a sudden that nigga sitting across the street with the screw face. Looking like Rico from Belly. Talking about some, I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit. It's like, bruh, why are you mad? Why are you mad at somebody else for doing the shit that you should be doing? You should be doing. And for those of you that's going to say, well, there's a reason that we don't do it, Angryman, because they hold us back and they do this. Well, then you need to do something about that. You need to do something about that. Look, this nigga talking about lies. They redline us. Because you don't know no black folks with no businesses. You don't know no black folks with no businesses. I'll wait. You don't know a single black person with a business. How when they cut all avenues? Yeah, I do. How'd they get a business? How did they get a business? How did they get a business? Like I've known plenty of black folks that own businesses. Plenty. So this thing where it's like, oh, it's because of redlining. Look, let me tell you something. I'm not gonna sit here and say redlining don't exist. I'm not gonna sit here and say racism don't exist. I'm not gonna say none of that shit. But at the end of the day, when did any of that shit ever stop black folk from owning businesses? That's my question. When did any of that shit ever stop black folk from owning businesses? I'm waiting. When did that ever stop black folk from owning businesses? Somebody please tell me. That's one hell of a point. Too many black mayors in America to talk about redlining. That's a good point. That's a good point. Let me tell you something. Redlining, racism, bigotry, prejudice, it ain't never stopped black folk from doing what they wanted to do. If there was a black person that was determined he was going to do some shit, he did it. Go ahead and tell me I'm lying. I'm gonna say that statement again, and you tell me if I'm lying. Matter of fact, if any one of you can tell me I'm lying about this, I'll shut the stream down right now. Racism, prejudice, bigotry, white supremacy, whatever you want to call it. When there was a black person that was determined he was going to do something, none of that shit stopped him. Am I lying? Cadillac Cree said, we don't own shit. We lease buildings, dog. Where are you from? Nigga, you don't own shit. You don't own shit. And matter of fact, get your black ass out of my damn chat room typing in all caps, nigga. Go struggle. Why you in here? Why you in here talking to me with all that struggling going on? If shit is that bad, why you in a chat room? If shit is that bad, why you in an internet chat room talking to me? You need to be out there doing something right now, nigga. You need to be out there picketing businesses and marching and shit right now. You need to be Dr. Malcolm Supreme Akbar, nigga. You need to be out there right now. If shit is that bad, why are you in an internet chat room talking to me, nigga? You need to be out there right now handing out pamphlets. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Shouldn't he be out there right now getting busy? If shit is that bad. And then we got the nerve to wonder. Look, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If there's one thing in this world that I hate, and y'all know I don't use that word like that. Y'all know I rarely ever use that word, but there's one thing in this world that I hate. I hate when somebody black starts talking about the possibilities of what we can do, and then some nigga comes along and tells us what we can't do. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. There's always some nigga that want to tell you what you can't do. And look, I remember when I was younger, I remember numerous times being told that I wasn't going to be able to do this and I wasn't going to be able to do that. And do you realize that the vast majority of the shit that I was told I wasn't going to be capable of doing, I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. The vast majority of the shit that I was told that I wouldn't be able to do when I was a youngin', I've done it. And that's why I keep saying all of that shit, even if it exists, even if certain things exist, just because it exists does not mean it's going to stop you. Just because it exists does not mean it's going to stop you. You got Negroes in here talking about redlining and they ain't never experienced redlining. You got niggas. Let me tell you something. You know what a lot of black folks do? A lot of black folks heard that hitting a home run was impossible. I'm going to say it again. A lot of black folks heard that hitting a home run was impossible. So because they heard that, they never even swing the bat. See, I'm from the show me tribe. I'm not just going to take your word for it. If you tell me it's impossible to hit a home run, I'm going to say, well, shit, give me the bat. Let me take a crack at it. Let me try. Let me try. Let me see how impossible it is. You're not going to stop me at the damn gate of the damn ballpark. You're not going to stop me at the gate of the baseball diamond and say, hey, I don't even know why you're coming in here. Hitting a home run is impossible. So get the fuck out my way. Did it ever cross you niggas' minds that the reason why they keep telling you that hitting a home run is impossible is because it ain't? Does that ever cross your mind? Does it ever cross your mind that they tell you about all those roadblocks, about all those different things to discourage you because they know if you try anyway, them roadblocks ain't gonna stop you? This is why I don't like y'all, because I don't want to hear you talk about white supremacy, because you do a better job of keeping your people down than white supremacy ever could. See, many of you niggas, you ain't got to worry about the white man stopping your dreams when you go out into the world as an adult. Because a lot of you, your dreams were stolen from you in the crib. Many of you, your dreams were stolen from you when you was just a baby. And the perpetrator was your damn own people. You ain't got to worry about the white man stopping you from doing something. Because your damn parents and everybody around you trained your ass to do nothing in the first place. Ooh, you didn't want to hear that, did you? You didn't want to hear that, did you? You didn't think about that, did you? Why I got to worry about the white man stopping me from doing something when I got niggas coming in here talking about some redlining? We don't own nothing. What's we gonna do? What's we gonna do? We's don't own nothing. We's don't own nothing. What's we gonna do? It's redlining. You know it got redlining. You know what that shit sound like? That sound like me telling you, hey, man, I'm tired of this shit. I'm about to run away and be free. And you talking about some, where's we gonna go? Where we gonna go? We can't go nowhere. We's gonna get caught. That's what it sounds like to me. In fact, all you niggas that get up here talking about redlining and white supremacy and we can't do this because of racism, if every nigga thought like you, we'd still be slaves. If every nigga thought like you, we'd still be slaves. Coming in here talking to me about it's 2026 and you brought your ass in here talking to me about redlining. Can y'all believe that shit? It's 2026 and this clown came into my damn chat room talking about redlining. And by the way, I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but when we talk about redlining and shit like that, you do know that's some shit that niggas just recently learned, right? Y'all know that, right? Why do you think on Boys in the Hood, when Furious was standing in front of that damn billboard talking to them niggas in Compton, they was amazed at what he was saying? Because niggas just recently learned about redlining and shit like that. Oh, no niggas in the 90s talking about redlining. The only niggas in the 90s that was talking about redlining was Hotep niggas, super pro-black niggas, and those type of brothers. The average black American wasn't talking about no damn redlining. You know what the average black American was doing in the 90s? Was out here trying to get it. The average American, the average black American in the 90s was out here pursuing the American dream. And guess what? A lot of them was achieving it. A lot of them was achieving it. That's the part nobody wants to tell you. Because I'm going to say it again. Redlining wasn't stopping niggas from doing shit. Racism wasn't stopping niggas from doing shit. Prejudice wasn't stopping niggas from doing shit. Bigotry wasn't stopping niggas from doing shit. Look, watch this. I'm going to read this message. Yes, we do have more rich black people now than in the 90s. Let me tell y'all something. This is why I can't comprehend none of this shit these new niggas say. I don't get it, right? When I was a kid in the 80s, there was only a handful of rich black people. Gen Xers, am I lying? There was only a handful of rich black people. One of them was Michael Jackson. One of them was Michael Jackson. Because here's the truth. Here's the shocking truth that most people don't realize. A lot of people back in the day that was on TV, they wasn't rich. A lot of people that was movie stars wasn't rich. They wasn't getting paid shit. They wasn't getting paid no whole lot of money. In the 80s, rappers were not rich. TV show actors were not rich. Movie stars were not rich unless they were some box office person like Arnold Schwarzenegger or some shit like that. They weren't rich. And guess what? Back in the 80s, NBA players weren't rich. Everybody looks at Michael Jordan now and say, oh, Michael Jordan's a billionaire. Well, he earned it. Because in the 80s, he won't making no damn money from basketball. Go back and look at what Michael Jordan was making in the 80s. Go back and look at what Scottie Pippen was making. Go back and look at what most of them NBA players, they wasn't making shit. When you look comparatively at how many rich black people there are today compared to the 80s, it ain't even comparable. Shit's not even close. The shit's not even close. That's why when you niggas love to get up here and talk all of this shit about us being oppressed, you niggas have lost your mind. And here's the reality. Here's the reality. Remember how everybody quotes Harriet Tubman when say Harriet Tubman freed X amount of slaves, and she's quoted as saying she could have freed more if they only knew they were slaves, right? Let me tell you something. When you look at how many black people today are rich compared to back in the day, and a lot of these black folks ain't even celebrities. If you look at how many black people today are rich, I got news for you. We'd have a hell of a lot more if they only knew that they were capable of it. We would have a hell of a lot more rich black people than we already have if it wasn't for this oppression, perpetual victimhood mentality that keeps them stagnant and in purgatory. All that bullshit that black people sit around and feed each other. All of that Democrat, plantation, You always a victim bullshit. This is what keeps you from getting rich. It's what keeps you from becoming successful. And this ain't me speculating. This ain't me talking from a theory. This is me talking from experience. The moment I got rid of that victim mentality, the moment I stopped listening to that Democrat bullshit, the moment I stopped listening to that victimhood horse shit and started looking in the mirror and blaming myself for my situation, it was only then that I was actually able to fix it. It was only then that I was actually able to turn the shit around. That's why when y'all come up here talking all of that shit about redlining and racism and all of this, and then I get mad and y'all be like, oh, you a coon. No, it ain't that I'm a coon. It ain't that I'm a coon. It's the fact that I'm smart enough to know what it is because I experienced it. It's your stupid ass that's running around here still using terms like coon because you need an excuse for your fucking mediocrity. Because deep down in your heart of hearts, you know ain't nothing standing in your way. But you need there to be a boogeyman. You need there to be a story about redlining. You need there to be white supremacy. Because that's always going to be your excuse. Because you're so terrified that you're going to jump out there and try to do something and fail. And if you fail, you wouldn't be able to blame it on nobody but yourself. See, a lot of you motherfuckers are cowards. You're cowards. And you're trying to use the white man to hide the fact that you're cowards. You don't want to try because you're afraid you're going to fail. So what you do is you try to pretend that there's some imaginary white man stopping you from trying in the first place. That way, you ain't never got to take accountability for your own shit. See, I'm not like you. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I can't do this because of the white man. I can't do that because of the white man. No, what I'm doing is I'm here. You know what I was doing last night? I was on Trey's panel. When I got off of Trey's panel, I was tired. I was dead tired. I came up here and I went through countless tutorials about AI. I did that shit until 4 in the damn morning. I sat here and went through countless AIs, countless programs, trying to improve my craft. And I'm talking about, I'm sitting here going through all of these videos and stuff, dozing off and shit. Dozing off like, oh shit. What did Nipsey say? Nipsey said, overtime. I ain't have a mic. I was in that Chevy playing Savage Life. Niggas looking at me like I had it wrong. Now them niggas know I had it right. You don't know about them sleepless nights. Those looking for a reason nights. I was sitting here, and I need you to keep this in mind. I'm sitting here dozing off, trying to learn some new shit to improve my productivity. I'm already a high 6-figure earner. I already make more money than most of you on average make. And I'm not fronting. I'm at that level where a motherfucker would get comfortable and say, I'm good. I don't got to do nothing else. I can just coast. No. even at this comfort level, I'm still locked in. I'm still, okay, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to learn this. I need to learn this. I need to do this. I need to do that. Still. Because guess what? If you not where you want to be or where you need to be, or you fall off, you can't blame that white man. You can't blame America. You can't blame the system. You can't blame none of that shit, because like I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, you're blessed. You're blessed. If you were born in America, whether you white, black, green, or in between, your ass is blessed. You were born in the damn promised land. You were born in the land of milk and honey. You were born in a place where the only thing stopping you, the only thing separating you from poverty and luxury is your grind. That's it. That's it. If you were born in America, the only thing separating you from a life of poverty and a life of abundance is your determination, your grind, your willingness to improve, your willingness to keep moving forward. You know why I kept moving forward? Because I didn't have a choice. I knew nobody gave a fuck about me. Nobody gave a damn about me. If I didn't go out here and get it, I wasn't going to have it. So I made a decision. I'm going to do what I got to do, regardless. Rain, sleet, hail, snow, it don't matter. Because if I don't give a fuck, nobody gives a fuck. And I'm not about to use the white man, the Asian man, the Latin man, the country, the system, white supreme. Ain't none of that shit gonna stop my grind. None of that shit is gonna stop my flow. None of that shit is gonna stop my motion. None of it. None of it. So if you got a bunch of excuses, nigga, go find somebody that's willing to listen to them excuses. Or better yet, go find somebody that's willing to purchase excuses, because I'm not. Yo, shout out to Burnell for being a sponsor of the show. Let me get you on the board, bro. And then on top of that, in this day and age, AI done made it so freaking easy, bruh. Shout out to Burnell. He said, get rich or die, sums it up. When I'm right, I'm right. When I'm wrong, there is a slight chance I'm still right. 2026 moving forward, folks are living in a basement, blindfolded with no light and a candle in their hand, using hope strategy. That's
that Bino energy.
Oh, it's a lot better than we usually do.
All right, chums, I'm
ready, guys.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
Man, AI has made it so easy. AI has made it so much easier to do shit, bruh. I can't even begin to tell you. I can't even begin to tell you how much easier it is to make money simply because of AI. You want to know the main reason? You want to know the main reason that most people don't understand why it's so easy to make money nowadays with AI? Because most of you still use AI like it's Google search. It's 2026 and y'all are using AI like it's Ask Jeeves. And that's why you don't understand the potential. That's why you don't understand the potential, because you don't understand the concept of workflow. You don't understand the concept of productivity. You don't understand the concept. I remember when I was younger, right? I used to think about the character on X-Men called Multiple Man. And I remember I used to say to myself, if I was able to multiply myself by 10, I would be able to make a lot of money. Guess what? In this day and age, with AI, you can multiply yourself. You can multiply your efforts. You can multiply your output. You can multiply everything that you're doing. If you're smart enough to use it, if you're smart enough to implement it, like for real. If you're not able to get money in this day and age, then you just ain't able to get money. You just ain't able to get money. Like real talk.
It's that time again. We going up. It's time to read the super chats.
See what we got here. Yo, shout out to Yoshi K. Said that generation before us in the 1960s and prior would have took over the United States with the type of character they lived their lives daily. That's a fact.
That's that Bino energy.
Shout out to Billy Nico. He said all facts, no excuses.
That's that Bino energy.
Hey, yo, we need a sponsor on the Cash App side of the game. If anybody's willing to sponsor the show on the Cash App side, it is greatly appreciated. Let's see who else we got in the building. Shout out to Immortal Sigma for the 12-month membership. Shout out to Chill Let Go for the 25-month membership. Said, yes, sir, we here for another one. Shout out to Mr. Excelsior. Said, good to be here again. Appreciate you. Shout out to Brother Noomsay. I want the knife. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Brother Noomsay again for becoming a member, excuse me. Shout out to Immortal Sigma. Appreciate you. Shout out to Lord Geotron for the 30 months membership. Said, I'm still rocking with you, big homie, Angryman. May I have a wrench? Let's see. Where is Lord Geotron? Lord Geotron, say something in the chat. Say something in the chat, big homie. Let's see who else we got. Shout out to Dolomite. Said no wrench needed. Still showing support for today's show. Appreciate you. Let's see. Shout out to Mama. Said I can only do 10. Well, I appreciate your 10, Mama. Shout out to Lord Geotron. He said, by the way, salute to my favorite chef, the Angryman. Shout out to the whole Bino Nation. Appreciate you. Let's see. Shout out to Lord Geotron. He said selective outrage and lack of self-awareness. Shout out to Jamie. Said right is right and wrong is wrong. I will support you no matter what because you at least see it for what it is. Please tell your wife I said hi. No doubt. Let's see. I still don't see Lord Geotron in the chat. Say something in the chat, bro, so I can get your wrench. Let's see. Lord Geotron said, well, Lord Geotron already got a wrench. He said, big homie, Angryman, one of the greatest attributes that I love about you is that you call out dark-skinned people's racist hypocrisy. Please keep up the great work. Respect. Appreciate you. Let's see who else we got in the building. Shout out to Legacy of Rain. See. Shout out to Lord Geotron again. He said those freeloaders are also a great danger to everybody they're around because they will steal from anybody. Can't stand bums. Bino Nation, stand up. Shout out to Brother Noomse. Let's see, we already did that one. Shout out to Lord Geotron. He said, hey, yo, will you unemployed circus performers please be quiet? You might learn something. Let the big homie Angryman cook. Appreciate you. Shout out to Weather People. We are the people, excuse me. Appreciate you. Shout out to Dig Thug. He said the reason capitalism and religion blend is because you believe it's possible. The godless socialists don't believe in anything.
That boy is good.
Shout out to Q the exec. Said most of these dudes that are crying racism and the system were born in the 2000s. F out of here. Y'all know nothing about racism. Keep cooking, brother. Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate all of y'all for supporting the show. Now let me get to my soliloquy. Y'all know I always gotta bring the show back around to the soliloquy. Oh, hold on. I think we got a sponsor. Yeah, we got a sponsor on the Cash App side. Shout out to Mr. Let me get you on the board here. Shout out to Mr. Nephew. Mr. Nephew said, friend of the show, Bino 100, stay true. Appreciate you, fam.
That's that Bino energy.
Oh, it's a lot better than we usually do.
All right, chums up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
Appreciate you being a sponsor of the show. Salute to everybody that has supported the show thus far. Y'all already know what time it is, man. So let me get to this soliloquy so I can give you my thoughts on this whole situation. So they handed us a number and told us it was a weapon. $2.2 trillion, the most spending power any community in this country has ever sat on. So with that being said, tell me something. If we're so powerful, why does every boycott we start die in 2 weeks? 2 weeks. That's the lifespan of a black boycott. Does that make sense to anybody here? If I'm lying, I'm flying. Tell me. And by the way, I need y'all that have wrenches to get on it. You literally got dudes in here talking about Drake and PDF files. What that has to do with what I'm talking about right now, I have absolutely no freaking idea. But today, we're talking about the Asian business boycott. And see, I'm going to say the part that nobody in the community has the spine to say. Rick Chow, an Asian store owner, was found not guilty in the killing of Cyrus Carmack-Belton, 14 years old. This is a kid, whether y'all want to admit it or not. The verdict drops, the wound reopens, and then some clown goes viral, daring Black America to boycott Asian businesses. So here come the pastors, because you know how they always do. The hashtag went up. Then everybody starts talking about the 2.2 trillion that we generate every year. And just like that, we had ourselves a movement for like, what, a weekend? So let me be clear, because the clip choppers are going to try to twist this up. The boycott, the idea of it is righteous. The instinct is righteous. Pulling your dollars out of a store that doesn't respect you, doesn't hire you, doesn't even pretend to like you, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not hate. That's actually self-respect. That's actually you being a dignified group of people that are expecting people to treat you with decency. So I'm not here to talk you out of the boycott. I'm here to tell you there's no point in even bringing up a boycott if you're not going to finish it, if you're not going to see it through. See, here's the part that's going to sting. The fatal flaw in this boycott isn't them, it's us. Rick Chow is not the problem with our economy. He's not the problem with us. We're the problem. Okay? The fact that we don't follow through with the things we say we're going to do, that's the problem. See, we've run this exact play before. Latasha Harlins, 1991, same outrage, same promises, same stores, still standing today. Every time the cameras leave, we march right back to the same counter, the same beauty supply store, the same corner store, and we call it forgiveness. It's not forgiveness. It's lack of discipline and lack of self-respect. See, we need a standard. This is why I always say the standard is the standard. Accountability for everybody. No favorites, no exceptions. That includes the man in the mirror. We want Rick Chow held accountable. Okay, cool. He should be. But are we that organized? Are we that disciplined? That consistent about violence that happens in our own neighborhoods on a Tuesday? You can't demand the world respect a community that won't invest in itself for longer than 14 days. You can't expect other groups of people to respect us when we don't even respect ourselves. So if you want to boycott something, I think you should start with boycotting the dysfunction of our community. I think you should start with boycotting the laziness in our community. I think you should start with boycotting the degeneracy in our community, the violence, the negative behavior. See, boycotting that store is only step one. That's not the whole game. That's like a warm-up. The whole game is economic masculinity. What I've talked about before, building ours, banking ours, owning ours, protecting our own with that same loud energy we only bring when we're mad. A boycott takes anger. Building takes discipline. That's why we're good at one and terrible at the other. Now, look, I'm not saying you can't spend with other groups, support other groups' businesses, build, with other groups. But you should only be supporting businesses and groups that respect your humanity. It's your hard-earned money, and you can spend it with whomever you like. But at this point, discipline is required, not optional. $2.2 trillion means nothing if you can't outlast a news cycle. So here's my verdict. If we can't boycott them successfully, okay, there's no point in bringing it up. All these half measures, it just makes you look weak. And none of it really matters if we're not willing to build for ourselves in the first place. Because even if you could boycott them, but you won't build for yourself, then was it ever really about power? Or was it just about your feelings? Because see, the thing about feelings is feelings expire. They don't last forever. You might be mad today, but you're not mad tomorrow. This is what happens when you're boycotting off of the moment and your feelings instead of principles, standards, the shit you believe in. Discipline is the only thing that ever moved a dollar in the history of this country. The only thing. So, answer this question for me. The one question that nobody in this boycott wants to touch. If the cameras turned off tomorrow, would you still be boycotting in a month? Or are we about to do this all over again? Because it's the same cycle that keeps happening over and over again. Something happens, we get mad, we claim we're going to boycott, we do it for about a week, and then we stop until we get mad again. When is enough enough? When are we actually going to stand for something instead of pretending that we stand for something? But with that being said, shout out to everybody that came through. I appreciate y'all for showing love. I appreciate y'all for contributing to the show, as always. But I'm about to get up out of here, and I'm going to holler at y'all later. Deuces.
The session is closed. The board is dismissed. Bino.
gave you the blueprint, now go build a estate. Stop arguing with broke, man, stop debating with fate. We don't negotiate value, we dictate the price. You watch the show for free, I just gave you a slice. But the real ones know where the equity live. We taking everything, we got nothing to give. The manual is waiting, you know where it's at. This ain't a gamble, it's a guaranteed bet.
Build, protect, lead. Go and plant the seed. Build, protect, lead. That's the code we need. Go to the side, secure the command. The Angryman channel, the standard of the land.
TheAngrymanChannel.com.
Get the shirt, get the boost.
Start watching, start working. We up.